Hello and welcome. I hope you are having a lovely day wherever you are. My name is Erin, and today I will be touring my first ever Finnish island, so I hope you enjoy. First things first, I'm going to be opening up some presents that I have laid out. It's going to be two different outfits, so here's where you can pick them up, and this is the first outfit, or we can go with this outfit, and this is the outfit that I chose to tour in today. Alright, let's go and take a look at my map, and my dream address will be at the bottom. So we have me, Cheerio, my brother, Moray, we have Buzz, Julian, Vesta, Poppy, Hopkins, Knox, Molly, Pearl, Ellie, and Ione as my villagers. Lovely line. I love all of them. So let's get started, and I see myself right away.
Nice.
Alright, and I say kindness is key, which is a motto I try to live by. Treat everyone with kindness. And we have the gateway into the castle. And it's kind of overrun. There's moss, there's weeds, mushrooms. I try to make this as kind of as dark and gloomy. Like it once was a beautiful castle, now it's kind of mossy and dreary and kind of abandoned. And here we have Nox's house, so I wanted a knight to guard the entrance of the castle. I decorated all my villager houses, but Nox kind of messed his up, which is unfortunate. As you can see, there's a table right there. I guess I saved the dream address when he was crafting, and I didn't know that it wouldn't revert. So yeah, so this was supposed to be like a waiting room. Like Knox will interview you, but that darn table is ruining the whole symmetry of this room. He must have been making something good. But yeah, it's just sad. I'm sad, Knox, that you ruined my house.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
So I think I will go away and I will stop being sad about his room. And then we're going to go back towards the plaza. And there's Luna. I do have custom codes. They're not the best, but I made my flag, which is the only code that I really like. So yeah, this is my plaza, my resident services. I have just a tiny little sitting room here. And, if you come by, you have your luggage, you can sit down. There's a little raccoon figurine that I love. Now we are running into the shopping district. So here's the first part of the shopping district on the lower level. Maybe morbid, but I wanted this lower level to emulate a poor class. So I wanted the space to feel cramped and, there's cannons. So some sort of an abusive military presence may be set up. Maybe it's for protection, or maybe that's just a ploy. To be honest, I don't really trust Tom Nook. I think he's hiding something. And then right here we ascend a level to the upper class, where there's no moss on the walls. It's more spacious and open in this shopping area. It's still a bit dark and gloomy, but at least it's definitely better than the lower level. I don't really have too much else to say about it, other than there's some shops. You can shop for clothes. I learned that this cash register will actually open, so that's cute. It took me aback when I was recording this. I was like, ah! And then this is just another viewpoint of the clock tower. Then over here we have a food stand. And there is a conspicuous pumpkin stew when I think we've seen pumpkin people. Kind of sus, you scarecrow people. Kind of suspicious. And then over here we have just couple houses, and we have a pot cellar. Not like a pot seller, but someone who sells just a lot of pot. Okay, I'm so sorry, it's late. And then I did some magic just now to get into Poppy's house. For Poppy's interior, I wanted to make her a florist or a botanist or herbologist, anything to do with plants and selling them, not just flowers, any plants. So, yeah, that's her house. And I'm gonna do some more magic, and now we're back outside, and so is Poppy. And now we'll head past the pot stand and go to Vesta's house. And I wanted to make her house a bit spooky, and I got caught on the door right here for a second. So the theme of her house is going to be a fortune teller theme. It's not my favorite interior that I did, only because it was one of my first ones. I do like the skeleton giving the fortune, but other than that, it's kind of bare bones what it could have been. But it still gives a purpose, and you still get what I was trying to go for, so it's all good. And I always feel bad going into their houses without talking to them, so excuse me for talking to my villagers. That might get annoying. But also, I apologize if I sound sarcastic or sardonic in any way. I can't help that. Sometimes it just comes out, and I don't mean to be rude at all. So, like that, excuse me for talking to my villager, didn't mean it to sound sarcastic or rude in any way. Moving on though, we are now at the lower level again. It is a merchant area over here, full of fishermen, and it must be a big fishing economy in this city. So here we have Buzz's house, and I'm entering it. And um, Buzz's house, I think, has my favorite interior in it, just because I like a lot of the vintage items, a lot of the vintage furniture that I've used. I really like the TV a lot. I think it's cute. I think it fits because Buzz is a cranky and he's kind of old fashioned, and he has old fashioned things. So, yeah. And then he is about to talk a lot. Sometimes the villagers have giant text bubbles and non-stop text bubbles, but that is okay because I still like them a lot. And now we will leave Buzz's house, and we should go see the boating docks. The boating docks are just really simple. There's not much to it. And then we'll go to Pearl's house. And for Pearl's house, it doesn't really fit her since she's a peppy, and I made her exterior and interior really jumbled full of things. But I guess you always have a secret life and secret interests that the public doesn't know, even if you're a pop star. So I made her entire house very kind of cluttered, especially the walls. There's a bunch of fish items. She's a cat. So I guess, she likes fish. I know my own cats love fish. To be fair, my own cats love anything I'm trying to eat, ever. If it's like garbanzo beans or something. But yeah, I gave Pearl some milk, some fish, some cat grass on the table, and yeah, just a lot of food, a lot of stuff. I originally wanted um, Boomer or Lazy in this space because it's so cluttered, but again, Pearl can be cluttered too, just because she's a peppy. And then here is Molly's area and her boat dock. And unfortunately, Molly is not in her house. I like her interior a lot too, That is okay. I can't pull magic on her house because she wasn't home either time I had visited to record, and I refuse to go back a third time. So I am over this island. I've been working on it since February of 2020. I just finished it a week ago. I am tired of it. But right now we are going to the left of the castle because the castle will end very soon and we go into a forest. My idea for the forest was to contrast it heavily from the castle and how the castle and that decorum is very dark. I wanted a really light forest full of stars and mushrooms and just bright colors and mystical objects. As you'll be able to tell, I don't have a strict theme. I'm not going to keep the same theme really. It just differs like place by place. Like this area is very green, like very, very green. And it is really contrasting the castle. And I kind of wish I did my entire island like this and how green it is because looking at it now, it's super pretty. And then this way we just have more of a little garden and we have a bath, we have a turtle and a frog just chilling out by the river, and I am giving a tree a shakedown and happy about it. And then we go over to the path, and I wanted this area to be like the castle used to be there, but the forest invaded it and now it's kind of in ruins. Right now, you are watching me struggle very heavily with the controller drift. So I apologize for that. That is going to happen a couple more times. It was so annoying when filming this because I didn't have any issues with the drift at all until I started filming this. And then of course it got bad and I was like, alright, whatever. And then this area right here is the area I have spent the most time on. I have probably redone it about 5 times, and I didn't like how it looked like every single time. And I still am iffy on the area. I'm just happy to be done with it, but I wish it could have looked maybe a little bit better. And here we have Captain's Dock, take you to some treasure islands. And then I also am iffy on the whole beach or beaches. Like they're decorated okay. But yeah. And then I have the sunfish right there because I love that fish. It looks so cute. And then a sitting area. You get up and there's just more greenery. And we'll go back this way. Back up to the other part of the beach. And we get a snippet of the forest. That's right here. And I use some dormant volcanoes in front of us just to fill up more room because I was unsure of what to do. And then we'll keep heading up, but I am going to stop right here because that part of the beach connects to the upper area, but I want to go back down and see the upper area through the main path and not the beach. So let's head back down and back through the Tories. And now we're back to the beginning of the forest. So we'll go down the main path. And I used a lot of vines on this. A lot of vines. A lot of crafting. And then here's just a fuller view of everything. It was kind of an awkward space to decorate because it was so narrow. So I'm really thankful for the green pathing underneath because it makes everything seem more full. Alright, and then we are getting closer to my house. So we're gonna go up to the well. And there it is.
Nice.
I wanted it to be like a star castle, a very light castle, in juxtaposition to the one that we saw in the beginning. And then I'm going to not go to my house just yet, but I'm going back to the beach, and this is where it was connecting that I didn't go up from, and this is just it. It's just stars in a chair and a thousand bushes. I wanted to take time to show you. Look at all the bushes. Too many bushes. Leaf got a lot of money from me during this entire making of the island.
I declare bankruptcy!
And then we'll walk up, and I did an oopsies and I didn't check my mailbox before I set the dream address. So oops. But let's go in. And I really like my house. It's kind of spooky, but it's kind of cool in a way. Like a mystical spookiness. And you can't go around the warriors. You can sit on the throne. I have taken many pictures on the throne. And yeah, it's supposed to be like kind of a possessed throne room. And you can't go to the sides. Everything's decorated. And here we have one of my favorite rooms. It's a gyroid room. I didn't use enough gyroids on my island. So I wanted a whole room to dedicate to them because they deserve a lot. And so it's like a ruined temple just for them. And I saw it somewhere in a different video, but they were making a gyroid uprising. And so I kind of wanted to make a similar thing. But instead of an uprising, maybe they're just dancing. Maybe it's a dance party. Maybe they really are uprising. I guess only time will tell. But for now, we're moving on. And the next room is a room I dedicate to primarily Snowboy, but also Red and maybe Tom Nook. They get a whole room to themselves because I absolutely love them so much. They are my favorite characters in the game, and they definitely deserve this room. They definitely deserve this room. So yeah, I kind of made my own little hell for them. And then we will go upstairs next. Upstairs is a fun room because we are in the midst of resurrecting Nefertiti, the queen herself. As of now, we only have the bust of her, so we are having to sacrifice some more people. Sadly, we are having to sacrifice some villagers in order to bring her back. I love Diana and I love Filbert, but sacrifices have to be made for the greater good, or for Nefertiti. So yeah, this is our resurrection post. And if we go back downstairs, and then we go into the basement, we are going to see the actual sacrificing spot. So we've clearly had to sacrifice quite a bit of people, and up next on the sacrificing spot is Julian. Unfortunately, the council has decided, and I don't have a say, so Julian will be sacrificed sometime. And then that is my house tour. I hope you enjoyed. It was kind of hard making the interiors. I didn't know what exactly I was doing. That could be said about everything that I've done, though, on this island. Another one of my mottos is just fake it till you make it, and it works pretty well. Anyway, here is a tea party area, maybe wedding area, and behind me is a star tree that I got inspired by someone else doing it. So I also wanted to recreate it. I think it's very pretty. And then if we go down here, there's a carriage that will take you to and from the party, wherever you live, wherever you come from. And the bells are chiming in the background, so it probably means it's time to go. If we go down this way, there's a little secret garden area. And this area was inspired by a book called Mistborn. In Mistborn, there's a section of the book where the main character, Vin, goes to a ball, and after the ball, she is waiting for her carriage, and then she sees a server boy asking for money, who is then killed by the guards, because you're not supposed to bother the nobility. So for this area, I wanted to kind of parallel that section of the book and have the party, and then in the back, there's that section with the graveyard and the skeleton. And then over this way is another little passage, and it's going to go and connect to Julian's house. But I'm not going to go there just yet, because it connects from a different way as well. And I will save it for last, because Julian's section is kind of my favorite. And then here's the bridge that will connect us to a whole nother theme, because I can't stick to one theme. So this area is now Junglecore instead of Fairycore, so it'll have a lot more green in it. And right now we are walking towards Ellie's house that is tucked away. And the elegant mushroom that's popping up right now is a portal into Ellie's house. And here we have her interior, which I wanted it to be a temple. It's not my favorite interior, but I do love the glowing moss items, the wallpaper, and the flooring. And I love those tall lanterns as well. If you've seen Game of Thrones, you might recognize the theme that's playing whenever you talk to someone. It's the intro to Game of Thrones. Believe it or not, my original goal for this island was to make it a Game of Thrones inspired island. Clearly that did not work out. And then we'll go down here, and there's a rock garden right to my left.
Oh. Okay.
Which isn't very visible. It looked really pretty when there was a flyover, but no one can do flyovers anymore because I restarted my island, and now I'm working on a Christmas island that won't be finished until probably July next year. And then I wanted this area to just feel very overgrown, very jungly, very green. And then here's Hopkins' house. And I'm fighting with controller drift right now. But I finally was able to pan up. And I could pull magic and go into his house, but I didn't like the interior very much. I was getting tired of working on the interiors. And then here's just the pan view. I do like the time of year that I set this island at. I think it was like May 1st. Because everything's so green. It looks so luscious. And then here's my brother's house. It's supposed to be a sunken temple. I saw Chase Crossing do an island tour, and it was the same idea. There's this person who made a fantastic sunken temple, and I was very inspired by it. So credit to them. And here's my brother. And he says soyez prudent, which also my French is horrible. I'm so sorry. But it means be careful. And I'm relatively sure he's saying that in a facetious manner because if we go in here, it's a graveyard as soon as you walk in. As you can see, it's very spooky. And for my brother's house, I asked him what he wanted for each room, so there's no overall theme. For example, he said he wanted the main room to be a graveyard, but I did get a lot of creative freedom in making the different rooms. And in this room, we have a fountain of youth. So my brother is supposed to be the angel of death. So he probably comes in here once a day to drink out of it, drink out of the fountain, drink the water, and stay young. And then if we go back into this room, into the other side, this is one of my favorite rooms, mainly because the complementary colors of red and green make this room morose and a bit drabby. So this is my dungeon throne room, or my brother's dungeon throne room, where we will see a dog in the cage, and if you upset either one of us, you may or may not be fed to the dogs. After I made this room, I realized it reminded me of Ramsay Bolton, and spoiler to Game of Thrones, but Ramsay feeds his stepmother and stepbrother to his dogs. Although I promise neither my brother or I are anything like Ramsay Bolton in any way. And then we're going up here to the back room, and my brother asked me to make this into his bedroom, but I do not know how to make a bedroom, so I turned it into a study instead. And I put a trumpet in here because my brother plays the trumpet, except for this trumpet sounds way better than my brother's playing. No offense. And then we'll go back out. And let's go upstairs. And upstairs, my brother wanted to have a crazy painter. Again, I don't know how to create a room dedicated to a crazy painter. So it just turned into an art studio where there are 3 different still lifes you can choose to paint. And it has a very similar layout to the art studios in my school. So yeah, final look, and then let's go downstairs and to the basement. And in the basement, my brother said he wanted like a crazy scientist, and that skeleton is supposed to be like sitting in the chair, and my brother is apparently like experimenting on people, maybe melting the flesh off of them. There's meat packages. He's keeping someone hostage. They're eating moss in jail because obviously you have to eat moss when you're in jail. My brother and I have played Deltarune together, and I found it hilarious that you can eat the moss. And both Chris and Susie love to eat moss. And if we pan up, we can see all these heads on the wall. This bottom room is also inspired by the short story The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell, and how he had hunted every single animal, and so he started hunting people. And my brother is kind of similar to where he has all those animal heads on his wall, and then he started experimenting on people. But that is the last depressing or morbid section of this island. Now we're going into something more bright and cheerful, which is Ione's little private beach, full of stars and mushrooms. And she even has a statue of David to keep her company. I didn't think I would get sad that my villagers don't remember me, but I kinda do. The parasocial relationship is real. And here's the cave I gave Ione, and I figured that's where she can collect all these star fragments and go mining for them in the cave. And then we'll go back up the cliff, except for I got stuck on this cliff, which is pretty embarrassing, especially since I have spent about 1,200 hours on this island and I still can't manage to get up a cliff. But here we have the entrance to Flamingo Beach, which is just supposed to be a huge party area. I originally did something similar to this on my first island that I never got to finish, and I just really liked the idea so much that I did it again here. And there's a little frog section too. I originally wasn't even going to decorate this beach because I've had enough with decorating, and the beaches are always really the weirdest place to decorate because nothing seems very natural to place on them other than beach items. But I decided to decorate this anyway. I mean, flamingos are kind of natural. Maybe not on beaches, but near the water. I just looked it up, and apparently flamingos do go on beaches to lakes, usually saline lakes or semi-saline lakes. So I learned that just now from Google, so thank you, Google. One thing to know about me is I am a giant bird enthusiast. I think birds are super cool. If you look at a cladogram of the class Dinosauria, you'll eventually find aves, which are all the birds. So all birds are considered scientifically dinosaurs, which is so fun. I just learned that last year and I thought I'd share.
Now I know.
This is a private beach, so whenever Red comes, we'll capture him and stick him into my hell room. And then here's just more stars. I really like the trick of putting stars behind the trees, so I started doing that a lot. And now we finally arrive at Julian's house. Julian for me is a bit fruity, and I pictured him to be like the Pope from Inside Job, where he would marry little gay puppies. That's his vibe for me.
By the power vested in me by me, I now pronounce you two very good boys. You may now share a plate of spaghetti, which is Italian dog romance custom.
Well, I don't seem to be wrong. Julian the Pope, same character. And now it's time to go into Julian's house. I did this tour the first time I came to my island to do a test run, so that's why I just magically got a purse on. I wanted Julian's interior to be pretty mystical looking, with the blue butterflies and the starry wallpaper, because I believe if you're getting married, it should be a special day, whether or not you're having a giant ceremony or just signing papers at City Hall. The day is meant to be joyous and memorable, and that's what I wanted to convey here. I mean, it definitely would be special if Julian was the one to ordain you. So you can come on by to my dream address and he'll ordain you to your SO. Actually, I kind of wish you could go to a dream address with another person. That way you could take pictures with them if you were to get married in Animal Crossing, like I know people during COVID did. No, wait, what am I saying? You can go to Harvey's Island and just take pictures there. It definitely still would be fun though to go to a dream address. But anyway, I digress. And I will be wrapping it up here. I hope you enjoyed, especially if you stuck around this far. If anyone watched, I want to give a giant thank you. It's been a lot of fun working on this island and a lot of fun touring this island. And I just want to say I hope you have a great day, a great life, and please take care. Bye.